I can't hold back anymore. 48-year-old Mi-soon whispered in a trembling voice, as she leaned into the chest of 65-year-old Chairman Han Jung-woo. In the late-night study, under the soft lighting, only their heavy breathing broke the silence. Chairman Han's hands wrapped around Mi-soon's waist, pulling her even closer. As her soft body pressed against his firm chest, they were both losing their rationality. Even knowing how dangerous this passionate love that reunited them after 28 years was, they could no longer suppress their feelings. But before this forbidden emotion began, there was a painful past and a fateful encounter. The glorious past and cruel reality. 3 months ago, Mi-soon's life had completely hit rock bottom. Before we begin the story, please subscribe and like. Thank you. Her childhood spent in a luxurious penthouse in Cheongdam-dong, Gangnam, Seoul, felt like a distant dream. Born as the only daughter of Chairman Lee Byung-chul of Daeun Group, Mi-soon grew up like a princess, commuting to school in luxury cars, wearing designer clothes, and traveling abroad as casually as eating meals. Her father's loving voice still echoed in her ears, but when she turned 25, her father's business suddenly collapsed and everything disappeared in an instant. On the hospital bed, her father's last words were "I'm sorry." And before he passed away from a heart attack, his eyes were filled with regret and love for his daughter. After that, Mi-soon's life was hell. She married Kim Tae-hon while drowning in debt. But he too failed in business, and their family fell apart. Her husband's cold words pierced her heart, and eventually after the divorce, Mi-soon was left alone with her 20-year-old daughter Soojin, and struggled through various jobs to make a living. There was no job she hadn't done: restaurant serving, supermarket cashier, cleaning work. But as she got older, finding work became increasingly difficult. "Mom, we're behind on this month's rent of 600,000 won. And the electricity bill notice came too. What should we do?" When her 20-year-old daughter Soojin handed over the bills with a worried expression, Mi-soon's heart sank. Soojin, a college sophomore, was earning pocket money through part-time work. But it was nowhere near enough to cover living expenses. Mi-soon acted strong in front of her daughter. But when alone, she couldn't stop crying. She sighed while looking at herself in the vanity mirror. Even at 48, she was still beautiful. Her smooth skin, refined features, and elegant figure, her youthful beauty remained intact. But the reality of worrying about living expenses was simply heartbreaking. "I never thought Chairman Lee Byung-chul's daughter would fall this far into ruin," she spoke sadly to herself in the mirror. But pride alone couldn't raise her daughter. That night, while searching through job postings online, a special advertisement caught Mi-soon's eye. Seeking private housekeeper for luxury home in Gangnam. Salary 3 million won per month, 5 days a week. Room and board available. The amount of 3 million won moved Mi-soon's heart, but the wall of pride regarding the profession of housekeeper was high. From a chaebol daughter to a housekeeper. But thinking of Soojin's college tuition and living expenses, she had no choice. Mi-soon finally made up her mind. A fateful reunion. The next morning, Mi-soon dressed neatly in a suit and headed to the interview location. As she walked while checking the address, the neighborhood felt strangely familiar. 129 Cheongdam-dong. Why did this address feel so familiar? She recalled memories of often playing near here as a child. It was the neighborhood where her father's company executives lived. Arriving at the front gate, Mi-soon hesitated for a moment. The three-story luxury, detached house exuded a sophisticated yet dignified atmosphere. Seasonal flowers bloomed beautifully in the garden, and the owner's taste could be felt throughout the house. When she rang the doorbell, a middle-aged woman's voice answered. And when the door opened, Mi-soon was slightly surprised. The interior of the house was even more luxurious. Italian marble floors, antique furniture, and walls filled with books. It had the atmosphere of an art museum. Sitting in the reception room, Mi-soon's heart began to pound. A moment later, the door opened, and a man entered, causing a small gasp to escape Mi-soon's lips. Fortunately, he didn't notice. 65-year-old Chairman Han Jung-woo was a tall, dignified gentleman whose silver hair suited him perfectly. His neat suit exuded restrained elegance. But to Mi-soon, his face was familiar. She could faintly see in this man the young man who had worked as a planning team leader at her father's company 28 years ago. But Mi-soon couldn't be certain. After all, 28 years changes a person significantly. Chairman Han's sharp yet warm gaze observed Mi-soon. To him too, this woman seemed somehow familiar. But he couldn't quite remember. What is your name? I'm Lee Mi-soon. And your age? I'm 48 years old. Chairman Han nodded while looking at the resume. Although the resume contained false experience, Mi-soon's refined manner of speaking and elegant posture caught his attention. Why do you want to do this work? Please be honest. At Chairman Han's sincere question, Mi-soon hesitated for a moment before deciding to answer honestly. For my daughter's college tuition and to make a living. If you hire me, I will work honestly and diligently. Mi-soon's honest answer and confident eyes stirred something in Chairman Han. She had a dignity and restrained beauty that was clearly different from other applicants. Are you married? I'm divorced. I live with my daughter. Mi-soon's lonely expression moved Chairman Han's heart. He himself knew loneliness well. It must have been difficult. It's okay. I'm used to it now. Chairman Han was drawn even more to Mi-soon's strong demeanor. Then please start tomorrow. The salary is 4 million won, 5 days a week. Thank you so much. Relief spread across Mi-soon's face. But she didn't know that the owner of this house was the man who had worked at her father's company 28 years ago. And what fate their reunion would bring. A new beginning and flutter of hearts. The next morning at 8 o'clock, Mi-soon arrived for her first day of work with a nervous heart. At the garden entrance, she saw Chairman Han returning from his jog in workout clothes. Even at 65, his firm physique and healthy appearance were impressive. When his sweat-soaked shirt revealed his masculine shoulder line, Mi-soon's heart fluttered strangely. Chairman Han personally showed her around every corner of the house. The first floor had a living room, kitchen and study. The second floor had bedrooms. And the third floor had an exercise room and music room. Can you cook? Yes, I enjoy cooking. That's fortunate. I prefer home-cooked meals. As days passed, Mi-soon began to understand Chairman Han's daily routine. His routine was waking at 5 a.m., followed by an hour of jogging, breakfast at 7, reading in the study. From 8 to 11, company work or golf. In the afternoon, dinner at 7 p.m. And from 10 p.m. enjoying a glass of wine while listening to classical music. You really live very regularly, Mi-soon said while preparing dinner. As you get older, a regular lifestyle becomes important. You have to maintain your health. That's why you look so young even at 65. At Mi-soon's compliment, a smile spread across Chairman Han's face. A few more days passed, and the two naturally began to have everyday conversations. The soybean paste stew you made today was really delicious. Thank you. My daughter loves soybean paste soup. Your daughter is fortunate to have a mother with such cooking skills. Chairman Han also began to show increasing interest in Mi-soon. If you have any difficulties, please tell me anytime. Don't overdo it. His attentive consideration warmed Mi-soon's heart. Special moments. 2 weeks later on Monday morning, Chairman Han's condition was different from usual. He was coughing and seemed to lack energy. Are you okay? You don't look well. I think I'm coming down with a cold. I'm fine. But by lunchtime, his symptoms had worsened. Chairman, let me make you some porridge. You'll feel better. Mi-soon began to carefully prepare beef porridge. She made warming porridge by adding rice to rich broth boiled with bones. Then adding beef and vegetables. The porridge she carefully cooked for an hour had a savory aroma. Please try it. The moment Chairman Han took a spoonful and put it in his mouth, his expression changed with surprise. What is this? How can it be this delicious? It's just simple beef porridge. It's not simple at all. It's been so long since I've tasted something so lovingly made. Please get better soon. I'm worried. Thank you so much. I can't remember the last time someone cared for me like this. Mi-soon's sincere concern warmed Chairman Han's heart. It was warm attention he hadn't felt in a long time. After he recovered from his cold, the two naturally began to have deeper conversations. Raising your daughter alone must not have been easy. One evening, Chairman Han carefully asked about Mi-soon's past marriage. It was really hard at first, having to handle everything alone. What happened with your husband? It was a personality difference. We weren't compatible. I'm alone too. My wife passed away 10 years ago. At Chairman Han's confession, Mi-soon showed a surprised expression. I see. You must have been very lonely. At first, yes. But now I'm used to it. Do your children visit often? They're busy. So we only meet during holidays. Everyone's busy with their own lives. Loneliness is strange. Sometimes you can feel alone even surrounded by many people. That's right. Without someone to truly open your heart to, you feel even lonelier. Their eyes met. It was a gaze that understood each other's loneliness. Special time in the study. A few days later, Mi-soon was cleaning the study. Chairman Han was sitting on the leather sofa reading a book. What book are you reading? The Alchemist. Have you heard of it? Yes, I read it before. The message about not giving up on your dreams was impressive. Oh, really? Which part do you remember most? The part about how when you want something, all the universe conspires to help you achieve it. I liked that part too. I think you should have dreams even as you get older. What's your dream, Chairman? For a moment, Chairman Han hesitated. Then he answered honestly. To meet a true companion. Someone I can share my heart with. Mi-soon's heart began to pound. I feel the same. It would be nice to have someone to understand and rely on each other. Their eyes met for a long time. In that moment, a subtle electricity flowed through the air. Mi-soon, you seem like a really special person. I'm just an ordinary person. You're not ordinary. I felt you were different from the first time I saw you. A few days later in the afternoon, Mi-soon was organizing the tall bookshelf in the study. She stood on a chair to dust and organize the books. When be careful, Chairman Han said worriedly. But at that moment Mi-soon lost her balance. Just as Mi-soon was about to fall backward, Chairman Han quickly rushed over and caught her. As their bodies pressed together, they vividly felt each other's body heat. Mi-soon's soft body touched Chairman Han's chest, and her subtle fragrance brushed his nose. "Are you okay?" Chairman Han's worried voice was trembling. Wrapped in his strong arms, Mi-soon's heart also began to pound. Even at 65, his masculine physique and subtle aftershave scent stimulated her senses. "Yes, thank you." Mi-soon tried to pull away from his embrace. But neither of them could easily separate. Their gazes met deeply. After dinner that evening, Chairman Han carefully spoke up. "Mi-soon, do you have time this evening? Why? Would you like to have a glass of wine together?" In the study, Mi-soon's heart began to beat rapidly. She instinctively knew this was not just a simple invitation from an employer. That night at 9 o'clock, soft lighting was on in the study. French wine, cheese, and fruit that Chairman Han had carefully prepared were placed on the table. Classical music was playing softly. Mi-soon dressed more carefully than usual. In a lavender blouse with light makeup, she was elegant and beautiful beyond belief. For 48 years old, holding a wine glass, Jung-woo gazed at Mi-soon. The study's soft lighting created gentle shadows on her face. His heart began to race at her beautiful appearance. That was unbelievable for 48 years old. The air grew heavier. An inexpressible tension flowed between the two. Even the classical music faded, leaving only their breathing to dominate the space. Jung-woo's gaze lingered on Mi-soon's lips. Her lips, redder than usual from the wine, looked particularly provocative. He felt his long-forgotten masculine desire slowly awakening. "I didn't know I could feel like this." At Mi-soon's whisper, Jung-woo's gaze deepened further. Jung-woo slowly rose from the sofa. Mi-soon's eyes followed his every movement. When he stood before Mi-soon, their eyes met. "You're so beautiful." Jung-woo's voice was a tone lower than usual. That low voice sent shivers through Mi-soon's entire body. Jung-woo's hand slowly rose and cupped Mi-soon's cheek. The moment his palm touched, it felt like Mi-soon's skin caught fire. His warm, rough masculine hand caressed her soft skin. "So beautiful." At Jung-woo's whisper, Mi-soon's heart beat even faster. At the touch of a man she hadn't felt in so long, sensations her body remembered were coming back to life. His other hand moved to Mi-soon's nape. His fingers moved along her slender, elegant neckline. "You smell wonderful." Jung-woo brought his nose to Mi-soon's neck. The natural scent of her body, mixed with her shampoo fragrance, numbed his senses. A small sigh escaped Mi-soon's lips. When his hot breath tickled her nape, it felt like electricity flowing through her entire body. Jung-woo's face drew closer and closer. Their breathing began to roughen, and their body heat transferred to each other. "Close your eyes," at Jung-woo's gentle command. Mi-soon slowly closed her eyes. With her eyes closed, her other senses became even more acute. Finally, Jung-woo's lips touched Mi-soon's lips. The first kiss was light as a feather, but even that brief contact felt like lightning, striking through both their bodies. At the sensation of a man's lips she hadn't felt in so long, all her nerves focused there. Jung-woo carefully continued the kiss, confirming that Mi-soon wasn't refusing. It gradually deepened. The second kiss was longer than the first. Without realizing it, she was responding to his kiss. Mi-soon's hands unconsciously grabbed Jung-woo's shirt. Focused on the kiss, she couldn't maintain her balance. His firm chest was felt in her palm. Jung-woo's hands moved down to Mi-soon's waist. Wrapping around her slender waist, he pulled her closer to him. As Mi-soon's soft body pressed against his, both of them breathed heavily. The kiss grew deeper and deeper. Jung-woo's tongue tip gently traced Mi-soon's lips, and she slightly parted her lips to receive him. In this moment, they both forgot their age. They were simply a man and woman desiring each other. Jung-woo stopped kissing and moved his lips to Mi-soon's neck. When he gently kissed her white nape, Mi-soon's body trembled greatly. A louder moan escaped Mi-soon's lips. Jung-woo's arms wrapped around Mi-soon's shoulders, and she leaned into his chest. "I didn't know it could feel this good," Mi-soon said with her face buried in Jung-woo's chest. His heartbeat echoed in her ears. "What will happen to us now?" Mi-soon asked in a small voice. "I don't know. But I won't regret it." They had crossed a line they couldn't turn back from. But neither of them regretted it. No one knew what ending this love that reunited them after 28 years would meet. But in this moment they were completely happy. After that day, the way Mi-soon and Jung-woo looked at each other had completely changed. When their hands brushed while passing morning coffee, both their hearts fluttered. And when Jung-woo placed his hand on Mi-soon's shoulder while she prepared dinner, shivers ran through her entire body. But this sweet daily life didn't last long. Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, the front doorbell rang. When Mi-soon opened the door, a man in his 30s or 40s, neatly dressed in a suit, was standing there. "Hello, I'm Han Jung-woo. Is my father home?" He was Chairman Han Jung-woo's eldest son. An extraordinary energy emanated from his sharp eyes and cold expression. "Chairman, your son is here." When Mi-soon went to inform the study, Chairman Han's expression darkened. The unannounced visit from his son was not welcome. The conversation between father and son was cold. Jun-ho's gaze swept over Mi-soon, and that look was full of suspicion and wariness. "Are you the housekeeper? You're quite young." "Yes, I'm Lee Mi-soon." Mi-soon greeted him politely, but Jun-ho's expression hardened further. "Father, I need to speak with you privately," Jun-ho said while blatantly being conscious of Mi-soon. Mi-soon tried to leave, but Jung-woo stopped her. "Mi-soon is like family." At Jung-woo's words, Jun-ho's eyes became even sharper. "Family? You're calling a housekeeper family?" Jun-ho's sarcastic words pierced Mi-soon's heart. The son began to suspect what she meant to his father. "Father, there are strange rumors going around. A 65-year-old widower with a young housekeeper." The meaning in Jun-ho's words was all too clear. Mi-soon's face turned pale. "Everyone at the company is worried. They're wondering if you're being taken advantage of by a woman after your money." At those words, Mi-soon's face went pale. It was shocking that she was seen as that kind of woman. Jung-woo abruptly stood up. But Jun-ho continued. "Father, snap out of it. The age difference is 17 years. Why would she do this work unless she had some ulterior motive?" All strength drained from Mi-soon's body. "I'm sorry, I'll quit." A shocking truth. When Mi-soon spoke quietly, Jung-woo's heart felt like it stopped. "Mi-soon, your son is right. Someone like me shouldn't be in this house." When Mi-soon went to pack, Jun-ho followed her. A strange curiosity was present in his expression. "Wait a moment," Jun-ho said while watching Mi-soon pack in the room. You said your name was Lee Mi-soon? Are you by any chance related to Dian Group? Mi-soon's hands stopped. Cold goosebumps rose all over her body. I did some research. Lee Mi-soon, 48 years old. One daughter in college. When I looked this up, Jun-ho took out his phone and showed her. Lee Mi-soon, daughter of Dian Group chairman Lee Byung-chul. Missing after father's business failure at age 25. Mi-soon's face turned white as a sheet. To have the past she wanted to hide revealed like this. You can't be, it's me, Mi-soon nodded. I am indeed the daughter of the former Dian Group chairman. Jun-ho showed a shocked expression. Then suddenly his face looked like something occurred to him. Wait a minute, then my father, yes. He worked as a planning team leader at the company 28 years ago. Jun-ho ran to the study and told Jung-woo. Father, Mi-soon is the daughter of the Dian Group chairman. The company you worked at 28 years ago. Jung-woo's face turned pale. It felt like all the blood in his body was rushing backward. What, don't you remember? Miss Mi-soon. Chairman Lee Byung-chul's daughter. The one he always boasted about. Memories from 28 years ago flooded Jung-woo's mind. The image of the pretty daughter, the chairman always boasted about, when he worked as planning team leader became clear. The image of that beautiful Mi-soon in her 20s overlapped with her now at 48. Mi-soon, whom he glimpsed a few times whenever he visited the chairman's home, was indescribably pure and beautiful. Mi-soon is. Yes, that Miss Mi-soon. Just then, Mi-soon appeared with her luggage. Goodbye. Mi-soon, wait. Jung-woo hurriedly stood up. Are you really Chairman Lee Byung-chul's daughter? Yes, that's right. Tears welled up in Mi-soon's eyes. Now you understand, don't you? How shameful I am. A former chaebol daughter working as a housekeeper in the home of my father's former employee. At those words, Jung-woo's chest felt like it would burst. The shame and pain she must feel was conveyed completely. No. Jung-woo took Mi-soon's hand. Your father was my life's benefactor. Jung-woo's voice trembled. Memories from 28 years ago came pouring out. When I worked at Dian Group, your father paid special attention to me. He didn't discriminate against me as the son of a poor family, but recognized my abilities. Tears streamed down Mi-soon's face. Longing memories of her father came back to life. Thanks to your father, I could learn management and later start my own business independently. My father did? Yes, when your father's business failed. I've been sorry my whole life that I couldn't do anything. Jung-woo's sincere confession warmed Mi-soon's heart. I'm glad I can repay the favor now. But more important than that. Jung-woo looked at Mi-soon, is that I love you. Mi-soon's whole body trembled. The sincere love confession from a 65-year-old man was melting her 48-year-old heart. Jun-ho interjected. Father, no matter what, this doesn't make sense. What will people say? I don't care. Jun-ho was flustered by Jung-woo's firm voice. Jun-ho, I'm 65 now. I want to live the rest of my life happily. Jung-woo held Mi-soon's hand even tighter. The warmth conveyed from his rough hands soothed Mi-soon's anxiety. Mi-soon, how do you feel? Mi-soon nodded while sobbing. Wealth and status don't matter to me. A heart that truly loves me is enough. Jun-ho sighed, but after thinking for a moment, he said. If Mi-soon is really the daughter of the Dian Group chairman, that changes things. Jung-woo embraced Mi-soon tightly. 48-year-old Mi-soon's soft body trembled in 65-year-old Jung-woo's arms. "Mi-soon, will you be with me?" A few days later, Jung-woo's other children all gathered. After learning about Mi-soon's past, they all gave their blessings. Mi-soon's daughter Soojin also wished for her mother's happiness. "It's been so long since I've seen Mom smile. The chairman is making you happy." 6 months later, Mi-soon and Jung-woo held their wedding ceremony. That night in the honeymoon suite, the two released all the desires they had been holding back. It was the moment when 65-year-old Jung-woo's still firm body and 48-year-old Mi-soon's still beautiful body became one. It was passionate love that forgot age. "Now we're truly a family. We met again after 28 years. This time let's be together forever." 2 years after their marriage, they were still like lovers in love. It was a love that deepened with age. "Meeting you is the greatest fortune of my life. For me too, it still feels like a dream." One winter evening, the image of the two, embracing in front of the fireplace, was more beautiful than any young lovers. Their love story gave hope to many people. It was the victory of true love that transcended age and status. A fateful love that met again after 28 long years of going around and around. Could this really be a coincidence? Or is it truly destiny? It was a touching story that showed age and status don't matter in true love. What do you think about this Twilight romance? If you liked this touching love story, please press the subscribe and like buttons. I would really appreciate it if you could freely share your own love stories or thoughts about this video in the comments. Your interest and support is a great strength in creating better content. Thank you for watching.